I have a lot to say. So today I want to talk about a little of my medical history and my fight with cancer and tumors. Let's start at the beginning. 2003 is when my first tumor was detected by damage in my vocal cords. I was unable, they were paralyzed, and it affected me being able to speak, so I couldn't talk, and I had difficulty swallowing. During that time, I opted to do a surgery, and so I had a massive surgery to remove the tumor. They didn't get it all. It grew back. And in 2011, I developed, it became apparent that I had a regrowth in my ear again, jugular, neck area, and so I opted to do proton therapy, which is specialized radiation therapy, where they send a focused beam of radiation to a specific area of the body in a way to treat that area only and not expose the whole body to radiation. After that treatment, I was deemed to be cancer tumor-free from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. And by April 2012, I had developed stage 4 lung cancer. And that started me on my journey. I mentioned prior to on other videos that I knew nothing about nutrition. I didn't care to know. I knew nothing about cancer, and I would hear little sound bites about it, but I would definitely block it out as, talk and hype and things like that, about the children and the bald, the embarrassment of being bald and how the cancer rate had increased and all these people were dying of cancer, and how it just seemed like random people were just dropping dead of cancer. And the very first thing that I want to say that I have discovered is that, and I know people are not going to want to hear this, but everyone has cancer. So I'm going to talk about what cancer is. The powers that be, medical science, have called it, they named it cancer, which turns it into some type of entity or being or evil force that comes in the night and kills people and children. And that's just not what it is. Everyone technically has cancer because cancer is cell growth. Now, the thing that they're calling cancer is when the cell growth becomes out of control. And what regulates cell growth is the immune system. And when someone has a compromised immune system, their body is bogged down and their immune system is not regulating cell growth. And so what the cells do is they continue to grow and multiply when they're supposed to die and disappear. And they start to damage the body, and you have, in essence, a balloon growing on the inside of you, and that causes pain as it infringes upon other parts of the body and tears and rips through tissue and organs and things like that. So that's simply what it is. It's not some evil thing in somewhere saying, I'm going to go and kill so-and-so tonight. It's just cell growth that has gotten out of hand and is not being regulated by the immune system, and it's due to the detox systems like the liver being bogged down and, per the Garrison therapy, poisoned. The other thing that I have found out about cancer is the way that it works. Apparently there are 3 communication hubs, and they communicate with each other. They're not detected by the doctor's imaging technology because they're too small. They only detect cells like that are a centimeter or larger. So anyway, they communicate with each other, and once one gets wiped out, the other one starts to spread. And apparently with me, that's true. I had one tumor that I had a surgery on, and it was not wiped out, so it grew back. Then I had proton therapy, and that apparently wiped it out. So then it spread to my lungs as full-blown cancer, which led to stage 4 cancer. Apparently, medical intervention is not effective in completely wiping out tumors, cancer, whatever. It comes back. Because really what I found out, it's about a lifestyle change. So I'll talk about that a little bit more later. So that's the way cancer works, and everybody has cell growth. Everybody has quote-unquote cancer, just not out of control cancer. The next thing that I found out is that, and I struggle with, is that, well, let me say this first. There are three options when someone develops cancer. You can do it surgically, you can do a radiology, or you can do chemo. And I did two. I never had chemotherapy. And if you go to a surgical professional, they're going to tell you about surgery options. They're not going to tell you about anything else. They're not going to tell you about radiation, although God blessed me to have a great doctor that dropped a little dime in my ear about radiation after the tumor regrew. When you go to a radiation specialist, they're not going to tell you about surgery or chemo because that's not what they do. If you go to a chemotherapist specialist, from my experience, they're going to push chemo to the death of you. So I understand kind of the tiers of medical treatment for cancer. The next thing is what I struggle with. Now, there are things that the doctor that I saw knew about cancer. I can't speak for everybody, but there are some things that he should have told me. They knew it because the PET scan deals with sugar and cancer's interactions with sugar. And he could have said, hey, you may want to, while you're making your decision, you may want to lay off the sugar, the processed foods, and preservatives, because these have been proven to be cancer supporting. So just their quietness about how to deal with cancer, I find hard, but I do know that the way that the system is set up, once something is deemed a disease, the medical doctors cannot offer anything but a pharmaceutical remedy. That's by law. If they do, they can have their license revoked and they can be thrown in jail. So I get that, and you can tell me about chemotherapy, but also tell me, hey, you may want to do A, B, C, and D while you're making your decision. The next thing, which leads me to the next thing that I found out, that there is actually multiple cures for cancer. This is not the Grim Reaper that commercials make it out to be, that the doctors make it out to be, that I certainly was made to feel that it was. The Garrison therapy, Dr. Sabi, Dr. Furman, Dr. Hoda Clark, and many more that I don't even know about, have all been effectively curing and fighting all kinds of diseases, from AIDS to cancer, for many years, 100 years at least. So it is aggravating for me to know that all these commercials are on TV talking about race for the cure and fight for the cure, and there is one, and that since this is so serious, the powers that be are not exploring and supporting and advertising what is right before us. Let the people decide. They're not hiding the information, so you have to take initiative, but still, let someone decide if they want to go the conventional or the unconventional way. Tell them that there may be other options, is what I'm saying. And that's what I struggle with, the sneaky quietness of it, not talking about what we eat and how that affects us. So the next thing that I have discovered about cancer is that it is no more different, and the fallout from cancer is no different from sugar diabetes, high blood pressure, multiple sclerosis, Crohn's, depression. I don't care what it is. It all stems from the liver, from my understanding, and it's some sort of breakdown in the detox systems and compromise of the immune system as a result of the breakdowns in the detox system. And so how the medical world puts, emphasis on, well, you have AIDS, so you're going to die, and you have, diabetes, so you have little time. They do have different time frames from how aggressive they are and how you need to treat them, but they all lead to death, and they all can be remedied by what we're eating. Now, I say this because a parent can be eating wrong and give it to their child. They may not have the cancer, or it's not seen in them, but they pass the cells on to their child. So it's based on what we're eating, what they're putting in our air, what we're consuming on a regular basis, whether it's through our skin or whatever. And there is no, you have cancer. It's all treated in the same way based on diet. And that's true because I do believe that God has made our bodies as a self-healing, self-governing entity, that if you give it what it needs, it can repair itself. That would make sense. That's why we're able to live from infancy until 100 years. So, um, those are the things that I've learned, and some of it I would have liked to have known prior to doing any of the things that I did, with getting, the surgery and with radiation. I think that's all that I wanted to say. Until next time, thanks for watching.